we are all very excited and nervous for how the next die rolls are going to go. This campaign might end after the first die roll here, if the commander is unlucky. So we'll have some interesting time ahead. But first, I am Mikael. My pronouns are they, them. This is my channel. I am super excited and a little bit nervous about this. It's gonna be fun. I look forward to see what the fate of the Legion is gonna, how it's gonna turn out. So around the table, let's introduce ourselves. Do you want to go first, Jim?
Yeah, sure. I'm Jim Crocker. I am coming to you from lovely Morristown, New Jersey, where I am a vendor at the Dreamation gaming convention and have taken time out of my setup to, you can see I've got a hotel room behind me instead of my usual, either my office or my my work office with all the role-playing games you might expect to see over my shoulders, so that I could make this. I like carved out a bit of my convention setup time to make sure I could be here for this, because this is our last day. I may get a little choked up at the end. I'm just gonna warn everybody about that in advance. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be very exciting. So I couldn't be happier that I was able to make time to do this.
Yeah, you wanna go next, Joel?
Hi, I'm Joelle Van Dyne. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm freaking out. If this campaign ends in the first 10 minutes, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So that's a reason to keep watching, at least. Don't know what's gonna happen. That's it.
Well, luckily you're the quartermaster with the horses, so we'll see.
Horse. There's one.
With the horse.
One lonely horse.
Well, it's going to be one important horse, that's for sure. You want to go next, Tom?
Hi, my name's Tom. Him, he pronouns. I'm excited to see what happens, no matter what happens.
And Matthias.
Hi, I'm Matthias. I use him pronouns, and we already we discussed when we came together and there were only 2 people on here. We were already well, there's a chance we might roll something and we never get to Skydagger Keep. And that would be an anticlimactic thing to happen. So we'll see how it goes, and maybe where those horses are spent.
Yep. It's the 12th episode, and we started in end September. So this is a long time coming now. All time working towards getting to this point, and also finishing a campaign that doesn't always happen. So that's also very satisfying. I'm very happy to be able to do that. The first things we're gonna do is that we have some things on our plate today. So first we're doing there's some lore keeper duties to do. We also have a campaign phase to get through the last one before we reach Skydagger Keep, and then we have a series of small one obstacle missions that will determine how well we prepare the defenses for the onslaught of the undead. And we talked a little bit about before going on with Tom here, our lore keeper. What kind of story we wanted to tell of the Legion here, because some more people died last time. Again, on the secondary mission, I don't think we lost anyone on the primary mission, have we? All? How many aces that we have lost now, Lord Keeper?
We have, by my records, 4, 8, 12, 15.
15 fallen. All well, not all rookies. I guess there was a soldier too, but I think there, but no specialist sliders yet. Cool. So, have you thought a bit about what the story of the Lorekeeper here might be?
Yes. Give me.
If you want to have some more time to think about it, we can also do like a bit of the campaign phase first, and we can frame it as them telling it on the way to Skydagger Keep as well, if you want to.
Yes, please. Let's do that.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Then we'll get into the campaign phase. First, Commander, you note time and pressure increased by 1. And then also the Quartermaster, you must spend 1 food to feed a Legion, or the Legion loses 2 morale.
Do any of the missions we're doing need food?
What kind of missions is it that need food again, Marshall?
I think sometimes like ones that involve travel.
Yeah, that's true. Usually supply missions.
Supply missions, yeah. There is no supply missions in Skydagger Keep, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't seem like a thing. There is.
I just want to make sure because we have 1 food, and I'd rather lose the 2 morale and then do like a liberty or something than not get an engagement roll or something on.
Yeah.
We have like 1 of everything.
There is a supply mission actually. Assemble the siege weapons.
Okay. And that'll need food?
I mean, it doesn't need it. It's for the engagement roll, right? So you get an extra die for it on the engagement roll.
Yeah.
Which is useful, but I mean, we all play them, so you don't. I mean, it's still going to be risky. I'm definitely going to put the heat on here if you're in a desperate situation. But
what's our morale?
10.
What do y'all think? 8's still high morale, right?
I think this is a like fictionally, I wouldn't say like we're going hungry. Fictionally, I would say we're pushing the march, right? This is the brutal last bits that need to be climbed up, and that's what makes it so strenuous for everyone.
Yeah, exactly, Tor. Who needs food when you have siege weapons? You have to drag them, right? I don't know time to eat.
That's kind of my thought, is I'd rather have the engagement roll die than the morale. So
yeah, you take
snacks.
-2 morale, Marshall. And then there is the campaign actions. You still have 2 of them, but you can't do any acquire asset here because there's a ... in asset rating on the high road.
And then just find one skinny
mountain
old
pony.
Mountain goat for me.
Is that a food or a mount? I don't know.
I don't know. Could use both. So people have harm, right?
But we definitely want to. Yeah, we definitely want to heal some people. Like the cadre's messed up bad. And I think some of our other like we had other people wounded last time too, right?
Yep.
I believe so.
Yeah, there was someone who had a
squad. We had soldiers, squad members. Yeah.
The Kingfisher and Aurora are also carrying wounds.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it affects cadre, so it'll be
boosted.
So
look at us with our strategic geniuses, making sure the right person gets wounded.
Yeah. So that would be 2 healing ticks for everybody, and I have a mercy who can give an extra healing tick to 1 person. Is that going to be enough with the level of harm that people were taking?
The cadre had 3, I think, and then also there was Russet, right? But they had this. They had
Russet
the
had
ability
2
to take
damage.
one less.
She took 2. They took 2 damage.
Yeah, because of their panther-like race, right? They would also have 3 otherwise. So that's good.
Okay. So, yeah, I'll do the boosted rest and recuperation for the first move. And then, so everybody gets 2 healing ticks. Does anybody still have 1 left over?
That heals the Kingfisher. That heals Aurora.
Okay.
And I think that leaves the cadre with 1. The bonus one, if the bonus one goes to the cadre, then everyone is in perfect condition again.
Okay. And then...
Man, I feel like the cadre and the Mercy have some kind of special relationship by this point.
Yeah.
They see a lot of each other.
And then I have basically recruit or liberty. How's our stress doing? I know Val has some, but she has 1,000 boxes, so.
Yeah, I think we're pretty good on stress. Val's got 3. Russet only has 1. So I think we're pretty good there.
And then,
so stress is not, and we like, and most of those people haven't had a trauma. So Ryan, like purely from min-maxing point of view, we're pretty good on stress.
Okay. Do we need to recruit? I know we lost people before, but I don't know if having...
I don't think
it sure seems like just about every squad is going to be put into play here.
Yeah.
So do we want to? Do we want to fill that squad that only has 2 back up?
Yeah, that's true.
Or do we want to try? I mean, can you recruit a specialist from this, or just rookies?
I can use our last supply to boost it and get 2 soldiers and 3 rookies.
Nah, I feel like we should probably save those supplies for the actual mission, right?
Isn't there something else?
Or are they usable at all?
It's the supply that's I use it to boost things, to buy another action.
Oh, okay.
Or at the end, it's worth points.
I mean, so arguably could this be used when we have to make those long-term project rolls? Mikhail, right?
Long-term project roles, what you mean?
I mean, we have to fulfill long-term projects in those missions or something like that.
No. I don't think it matters in that. Oh yeah, I guess for the ramparts and the gates. No, I don't think.
Yeah, it would make the ramparts better. It wouldn't help us fill clocks anyway.
I guess it.
I guess the question is, can you recruit laborers, or is that something different?
That would be a acquire asset. We have 2 squads of laborers also.
Yeah, so you're pretty good on that one.
So.
I would say that you could possibly use it for the long-term project. That you use like the reinforced ramparts and the gates. But since you already have you already have the 2 labors, right? So you're gonna get +2 on all those dice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean, is there any reason not to get +3?
it wouldn't give +3. It upgrades the result.
Oh,
Like
okay.
the level. We would have fine walls instead of
Okay.
walls, which I guess
Also,
could be fun. But
you just need 4 squads, and like, do you have enough for that? You can mix around a little bit
Okay.
because you kill the broken, right? So that means that you don't have to use all 5.
so, what do you think, Mateus?
Like, if we're just like, if it doesn't really matter, just use it to reduce stress.
Yeah, I was just wondering if
If
we needed extra people, because I know we just lost.
Yeah, I mean, we could fill it up with do we want to? I mean, it kind of makes sense fictionally because of the people we saved last time, to say that they like fill up the ranks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you don't have full squads either. No, not the Ghost also not full. The Shattered Lions are not, right?
Only the Shattered Lions are not full. The Ghost Owls are full, and they're
okay.
a full squad of soldiers.
Oh, okay. Right then.
So
Again, that doesn't matter then. I guess you have like the squads you need to do the missions.
At the end, for each squad with fewer than 5 survivors, we subtract 5 points. Are we?
Yeah, that's true.
yeah.
So that's I was thinking that also.
Then I guess those are Zimyati that are in fighting shape, right? And that are joining up. Does that make sense to everyone?
Yep.
the Legion needs you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'll recruit and are we okay with just rookies and then leaving the supply for points at the end, or do you want soldiers? I don't mind spending it.
Do they automatically get boosted?
I would spend the supply, but if they're gonna actually see action, I don't mind seeing it. If it's just so that we have bodies in the sections, then they can all be rookies. From my thinking.
I mean, soldiers are better.
Yeah.
So I welcome soldiers.
Okay, I'll spend that last supply then. And we get 2 soldiers and
1 rookie.
3 rookies.
Yeah, but we can only take 1 rookie of those, but that's fine.
Yeah, cool. So I totally see like why you're not getting time for food here, right? Because it's like you're patching up, you're wounded. There's some people who needs to have like some time off, and like the poor people who are not in either of those camps, they have to work like 24/7, right?
Yeah, and also we're basically ditching everything we don't need to carry for that last stretch, right? That's why we don't have supply anymore.
Yeah, and to the extent that morale goes down, I feel like it's not necessarily letting somebody in, letting someone in.
Yeah,
That's great. Like, it's not necessarily that people are like getting demoralized. It's just that they're just like exhausted and sore and haven't slept enough and stuff like that. Like, everybody's spirits are still high, but their bodies are starting to wear out.
Yeah.
I think is how I would read that.
And I mean, we're at 8, right? So we are still at very good morale. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So that is the campaign actions. Then the Legion advances.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. And
So-
this is where our game might get cut short. So
Yep.
when we advance, we're going to roll pressure minus horses you suspend, and we're going to add time accordingly. So we have 3 slots left in our clock. That means if we roll a 6, the game is over. So I am going to beg you to use one of our horses here so that I'm only rolling 1 die instead of 2. Okay.
Take him.
So I'm gonna lower
Take
pressure
my
to 1.
horse.
I'm gonna lower
Alright.
pressure to 1.
It's also just enough with 1, right? It is actually. Oh boy.
Yes.
Okay.
If I roll a 6, it adds 3 segments. So
Can feel my pulse here.
oh, this is literally this is the worst die roll I've ever made in my life. So we've got no bonus dice.
Oh no. Okay. So
We're so close.
Anyway,
And that's me canceling my Roll20 subscription.
I feel like this shouldn't be allowed. Why is this allowed?
What does this look like in
Well,
the fiction? Do we get cut off?
It's allowed. It's allowed because this is the it feels like 1 die roll, but it's not. It's the cumulative action of a dozen games and a couple of bad die rolls, and I mean, this is that crit that added 5 to the to the clock, and then last time we failed a mission that added a pressure when we were at 0, and we should have only been at 1 this time, but we blew that mission, and so we got a pressure added on, and it all.
So just real quick, one of the abilities of this tale that I'm about to tell, one of the effects is remove 1 pressure. Does that help?
Oh shit! Yeah.
yeah, that means you get to roll another die.
I get to roll another die, and if it's not a 6, we use that one instead. Because if it's at 0, we roll 2 and take the lowest of the 2.
Okay, so
But let's please get the fiction first before the second die roll.
But this is perfect.
We should have told the tale first, I think, right? Did we do that not in order? Yeah.
No, I wasn't ready,
so
I haven't.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this is super cool though, because that's the tale of hardening in battle, right? So
yeah.
What's the tale, Lord Keeper?
Forgive me if this is not the greatest story you've ever heard, but about maybe a few generations into the Legion's founding, so it was still quite new, there was it was an uprising led by a singular person, which came to be known as the Black Sand Heresy. It was led by a incredibly powerful. No one's still quite sure how he did it. They're not sure if he was some kind of mage, or he was just he found some alchemical ability. No one's quite sure. But there was a man by the name of Silver Rosier, and he formed a cult called the Cult of the Eternal Dawn. And he had found a way to drain the power and skills of living creatures that he fought. So and defeated. So very quickly he became an incredibly powerful fighter, tactician. You name it. If he had something he wanted, and he managed to beat you, that was his, and then you would probably die soon after. So he amassed quite a large following, and he never told anyone how he did it, but he was able to bestow certain abilities onto people around him, so people flocked to him. and the Legion was sent out to fight him, and because they were young, they underestimated him severely, and several of their best fighters were just like pretty much like that were ambushed and drained, and then they had they ended up with the abilities of some of the Legion's best fighters, and they counterstroke and took the offensive, and it was on the sort of retreat that they had to leave several. They tried to get everyone they could out, the wounded and maybe the infirm, and those they couldn't bring behind were had to be left. So obviously the Cult of the Eternal Dawn overran these camps and started draining people of their abilities. But the rearguard scouts, noticed that they would ignore critically wounded people and the infirm, and go for and try to exclusively take prisoners, mostly the strongest. But they would screen them to see if they had any wounds or perhaps like any weaknesses or defects before they'd be drained. So then the Legion theorized that it wasn't just the strengths that could be drained, but inadvertently weaknesses as well. So the then Marshal at the time, whose name was Great Clashing Wave and was regarded as one of the best warriors at the time, despite the little known fact that he was sort of a living legend, but he had this huge secret that he was actually born blind. And so he called Silver Rosier out and dueled him in single combat and lost. Silver, unable to resist the allure of draining such a well-renowned person, did, and ended up losing his sight at a critical moment. And this is when the Legion sprang their trap and essentially Zerg rushed him while he was blind. So they jumped on him, and in that moment, when after it was over quite quickly, but it was still an incredibly brutal fight, because he was still like an incredibly good swordsman. He was surrounded by his best people, but the fact that the cult had their leader taken out at a critical juncture essentially left them completely leaderless, because he had managed to gather this force around him by just sheer charisma, and he hadn't told anyone else how to do what he did. So when he got taken out, it was pretty much game over for that cult in one day, pretty much, after several months of fighting.
That's so awesome. I love how that old enemy mirrors our current one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so another. If you roll another 6 here, we deserve it.
So that's going to reduce pressure to 0.
Wait, yeah, but you don't want to roll 0 dice now.
Okay, so I just want to roll a single die. What should I do? Should I just do a fortune roll,
or use pressure with 1?
How do I just roll one? How do I just roll 1 die? Oh, I do. Or I just re-roll 1 pressure. There we go. Exactly. All right. Submit.
Saved by the stories.
Okay, cool. So, what does this look like, you think? Because if the Legion hadn't had that story, right, we would have lost here.
Maybe we wouldn't have marched through the night, being blind on a new moon or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe that's the thing. Like it was always like considered the luck to march in the night before a big battle because of that. Like not seeing is like not a disadvantage, or not seen as a disadvantage in the Legion. Something like that.
Well, it's usually been something that's been more like a tradition, right? You don't march the full night, but maybe this time we did in remembrance, because we obviously have our scouts out. We know where the enemy is, and there's a big danger that we are going to get cut off. And then this story is being told, and everybody's like on board on marching through the night to get to Skydagger Keep.
Yeah, and to some extent, I wonder if it's like there's a certain amount of like, I like the idea that we're taking something that would normally be a weakness for us, or that that they're closing in on us, but we are gonna kind of turn the tables. And I wonder if maybe that's if like we take the fact of how difficult it is for us to traverse this terrain and climate and all that kind of stuff and everything. And it like if we deliberately go the hard way because we know that that will make it tougher for them to follow us. Like even if we went through the night, but we stuck to like, you know, like the regular roads or something like that, they might maybe still be on top of us. But if we deliberately make it harder on ourselves, we also make it harder on them.
Yeah, and we just
by kind of
grasp.
Embracing our weakness to some extent. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you arrive at Skydagger Keep. Skydagger Keep is named after its tall spire jutting into the sky. Its walls is the guards that only pass through the West Wall Mountains. And right now it's the only thing standing between the broken hordes in Aldermark and the passage into Barta and the Eastern Kingdoms. You arrive here with like hours before the horde will arrive as well. Yes, you still need to mark one tick on the clock. And those hours are precious for you to prepare the keep. Which hasn't been in use for many years. There's some all right tricks bolstering this Barton construction. There's some like pipes that carry hot water that goes through the halls and walkways that provide movement even now when it's snowy. Up here, I think it's like this kind of place that is almost it's like snow maybe 8 months a year, and now it's already like has like a cover of snow, and there's also some vantage points on the side that gives that would be very useful to put siege engines on. So the first thing, so how this is going to go on to our viewers is that there is a list of 5 missions that the Legion needs to complete here before the last wave comes, and we'll see how the campaign ends. One of these missions, to hold the lower pass, we don't have to do because that would have been against the Renderer, who is dead. That means that we only have 4 missions. One of them, and the first one we need to decide on, is to you still get to work during that time, so you get like a free roll essentially to reinforce and prepare the ramparts and the gates. So so Skydagger has not been maintained in decades, and it has never been besieged. So I made like a 10 segment clock down there, a long-term project that you need to assign a specialist and a squad to. And you get to roll now once before each other mission. So you get to do 2 rolls before you do the mission stop the main force. So first, Marshall, who do you assign to this mission?
Okay, so let's reinforce the ramparts and gates.
Yeah, also, you add +1 to each roll for each labor squad the Legion has.
And we've got 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
The reinforces what type again? Just to make sure.
It's not.
Doesn't have a
it
type.
doesn't require an engagement roll. It's just a long-term project.
Oh, okay. I think it's the Grinning Ravens.
And the specialist.
And the specialist that accompanies them is I think it's Anthracite. Yeah.
Cool. Quartermaster, you want to do some long-term project roles here?
I think actually the specialist in charge leaks.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So pick a specialist to lead. So I suppose that would be Anthracite. They roll an action and mark segments on the project clock based on the result. So I think it's probably like Anthracite rolling rig or something like that.
Probably not. Yeah. Then I picked the wrong one. Wait a second.
Yeah, it could also be discipline possibly because you have laborers, right?
Oh yeah.
But they don't have discipline either.
No, I mean it could be probably a lot of different actions.
Yeah. I guess I should swap. Is it okay to swap out which specialist I'm sending?
Yeah, sure.
Because I didn't think of that. And I think this might even make sense that it's under the command of Dame Aurora Loprio.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking because she kicks ass and takes names.
Yeah, exactly.
She does not like she doesn't mess around like you. She wants asses and elbows. Yeah.
The Grinning Ravens are not having a good time. I think of her as
being.
Yeah.
Is this a rig wall?
Yeah, I think
no.
Her as being the closest to it.
Okay.
I'm gonna use discipline. Discipline a fellow soldier, command obedience.
She's
force of
the drill sergeant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, describe to me how it looks, right? Because we haven't seen them that much on screen, but that was your original, the character you originally created for the first.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think she we see her walking past all the Grinning Ravens who've put they're not carrying around weapons, right? They're there to work, and their faces are dusty, and she's stepping through them and pointing and yelling at them, and always with a look out to the horizon if the enemy might still be showing, right? And thus incredibly impatient with the ravens. With the poor ravens who've suffered so much in this campaign.
Yeah, those are over half our casualties.
Yeah. And we as an audience, we like only recognize them by their signs and their banner, right? There's like one or two, like the Weyer siblings. We as an observant audience member, we might notice, oh yeah, we saw one of them a couple episodes ago. Yeah. Should I roll?
Yeah.
Is there anything to add into this, or?
It's +2 to each die, but I don't know how you do that. Can you do it? I guess.
So it's 2 extra dice.
No, it's I think it's +2 to each die. No, yes, +1. Yeah, it's +1, +2 dice. Yes.
All right. Let's roll this. Oh, no 6. That's a 5.
Yeah, that's 2 segments. You get another one before we do the next mission because there's no render to fight. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is it that you're fixing?
I think you know what it is. We saw how they besiege ramparts and battlements in Jalisco, right? So I think we're putting up specific constructions that counter that. So maybe we know like what kind of contraptions they use to scale the walls, and we basically put up we hang like a fake facade over on top so that the first waves of those will like we can just like drop them, and that's being pulled up and over the ramparts. And in the first scene, we just saw like everybody working and doing general upkeep and maintenance, and now we're bringing those things into place. And there are like these things made out of nets, which are tied together by ropes, right? Which are meant to be like when those ladders with hooks come up, they hook into that, and then we'll just loosen the nets and they'll slide off the ramparts, at least on the first wave, right? A couple of them may break if they reattach them, but it's a thing that Dr. Boom came up with. Yeah.
Can I add a detail?
Yeah, sure.
I think the other thing that like we're doing, and especially that like that the Dame would absolutely like order done is if this is like a traditional keep with like a wall and then there's like a castle on the inside and outbuildings and stuff like that, like we'd just be like those buildings that we would normally like. I think we're just like knocking walls down and hauling, bricks and stuff out of the interior buildings, just like cannibalizing the inside of it to help reinforce the walls and all that kind of stuff. And we're not going to worry about the fact that it's not going to be comfortable to live inside. Because like if they get past the wall, it's all over. So like worrying about there being like a bailey and all that kind of stuff and everything, I feel like we've probably tossed that out the window.
Yeah, nice.
There's probably like a shot of that Zemyati elder we stole with like doing like one stone at a time, or that we saved.
And this
helping to build the walls.
Yeah, and you'll probably also just like see the like as you go like in to take the rocks, like there's quite a big amount of people here, right? Because we both took people from Fort Callisto and now also these people from that we saved, the Semiati. So like yes, there's we're not worrying about. I think we're still worrying about living there. We're just like very much less than about the dead coming in, and there's like this person you probably see in the TV show. Someone saying, "Shouldn't we?" And then the other one is like whispering to them. I mean, if we survive tonight, we'll think about that tomorrow.
Yeah, and I think there's a situation where because the Green Ravens, they have one soldier, so one person, Hannah Sharral, who survived it all and saw everyone die. And then there's this situation where we see Aurora pull her aside. And she actually steps in close to her and takes her face into her hands and not almost shaking, but not quite, like catching her with her own intensity until there's like this glint in Hannah's eyes that returns and she looks the officer back into her eyes, and Aurora said, "This is what they all died for. This is what they sacrificed. This is where we'll make our last stand."
Time to see if it's actually the last stand with that roll, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm using Sway this time.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to make all of these rolls?
We got to fill a 10-segment clock, and if we do, we get an extra die to the final roll.
Right. Okay.
I still get the bonus dice, right?
Yeah, every time, every roll we get two bonus dice. Yeah.
Okay. That's a 6.
That's halfway, right?
2. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So now you stand on the wall and you see like they're starting to coming the fences on top, and I think probably like the whole fortress is pretty silent except from like the banging to get the rocks loose and all that stuff. People are going around and being restless and like preparing, right? And this is like already the next mission is to stop the main force. So this is like it's a pretty, all these missions are pretty dangerous, and we all know that this might be like, it might be the last like hours of the like the soldier's life, but it might also be like the last hours of all these people that we spend so much time to an effort to save life, right? So I'm sure there's a pretty like special atmosphere. Who is going on that mission? That is so stop the main force. You need to assign 1 squad and 2 specialists. This is a dangerous recon mission that involves climbing the mountain passes and evading undead patrols. The objective is to start an avalanche to stall and stagger the main undead force.
Okay.
Man, if you don't send Dr. Boom on the mission to start an avalanche,
No.
I don't think I know you at all.
I think it's definitely Dr. Boom. I'm thinking, yeah, but I'm thinking accompanied by Rusted Raging Tempest, to get there.
Yeah.
And which squad?
What was our badass scout squad that we used last time?
It was Ember. We had the Ember Wolves last time when we rescued the.
Yeah, they're
Elder.
much more of a fighting one. I
Yeah.
think this might be.
Okay.
I think this might be the Shattered Lions. Yeah, because this is not going to. They've been recently reinforced, and this is hopefully not something that will require them showing much cohesion. And they're amped up for this, right? They want to get their revenge. Like now it's our turn to ambush.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that completely makes sense. Yeah. This is sending them out to having to do an ambush of their own.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the symmetry of that. Yeah.
So the first action there would be Russet leading them back down or on paths trodden through the mountains to circle around and get them to a position where they can set off the charges in a most devastating way, which would be scout.
Yeah, here though, there's going to be engagement roles and stuff, and I want you to assign characters and load, but collectively decide on load here probably because we can do it a bit quicker.
Sure. So, I'll just play, or Joel, you've played Russet before, right?
I have, yeah.
Oh, Tom, you have too?
Okay, yeah.
I think Joel has too, and I have too.
Okay, that's fine.
But well, we can. No, Tom, if you like to play Russet again, I'm cool with it.
You're a cool Russet.
Yeah. Then Jim, do you like to take Dr. Boom in this case?
Yeah, sure. I'll play Emilio.
And Joel, do you want to take a rookie here? The rookie that survived a lot, though. Esther?
There is a soldier in that squad.
There is. If you would rather take a soldier, that's fine. Which one do you want, Joel? I'm going to be taking Jamil in this case.
Oh, that's who I was thinking of as the soldier.
There's two other soldiers in there, but then
okay.
We need a quick. But do you rather?
Who's the rookie?
Esther. And she was part of the ambush last time. The other three are new to the squad. But you can also play one of the soldiers.
I think that I want to play one of these soldiers. Ivona, let's say.
There's a Valentina and there's a Leonin.
I'm looking at the wrong squad.
We're looking at Shattered Lions. We need a character sheet for one of those, Mikhail.
I'll take what's the character?
Leonin was the last one you said?
Yeah. It's just a decision between the name. They don't have any stats yet. You can just add pronouns. That's what they have.
I'll be Leonin.
Okay.
Okay, this should be there. I might have written it wrongly, but you can correct it if you want. Cool. So let's have like a small scene before you go on the mission as well.
Also
just
load.
Like I guess we can just go around and like describe our characters and then also say what load.
Yeah.
Is there anyone who has? I guess maybe we can start with Russet since you kind of know a little bit about them already, Tom. What does Russet look like, and like what's their mood in this situation before this mission?
I mean, they don't want to show it, but they know this is a do or die kind of situation, so they're quite nervous. But again, they're reveling in the challenge, and they know that if they cause this avalanche and they do this mission, they're definitely going to be leading the competition between them and Azure Surging Flood. So that's the incentive. But despite everything, they seem very confident in their movements as they move across the various ridges to overlook the attacking force.
Cool. What about Emilio? And also, yes, Tom, your load. Before I forget.
I think probably normal again.
Cool. Emilio, describe how you look and what your mood is like.
There had through over the course of the morning, as people are working on the wall, like from somewhere in the back of the fort, like a back corner, we just hear every 15, 20 minutes, there's like a waboo, like a kind of a, like a concussive noise, and maybe like the sound of some rock kind of crumbling, and maybe like a little smoke coming out of whatever room it is that he's working in. And I don't know who's going to come in and find him there, but he has taken he's in wherever they used to have, it's like the feast hall or whatever, right? And there's one of these kind of long butcher block wooden tables there, and he has laid a couple of tower shields out on it and just has a wheelbarrow full of rocks that he has had a couple of the, he's just dragooned a couple of kids that came in with the Zemyati just to bring him piles of rocks. And he is building little dioramas of the pass and putting little charges in them and then blowing them up experimentally. It goes boom and then they all collapse. And he's like, oh, no, that's off by 12 degrees. And he traces a finger in the air, he can see the numbers and the formulas and stuff there. And he goes, okay, again. And he sets it all back up and he puts the little charges down. And he is intent on trying to figure out all the variables to this as he is working on it, and if anybody comes in while he's doing this, he's gonna very enthusiastically like, look, by placing the charge at a 7-degree angle in the rock, we can cause 1,400 additional pounds of boulders to come down into the pass. Like, and then like he'll look at them like, aren't I brilliant for having figured that out?
Also,
and
Russet.
Like by the time,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also, Russet, you're in charge of this mission.
So maybe Russet walks in to get Dr. Boom so they can go, and they're just like they lean over this diorama and the various explosions.
Oh, yeah, this is totally the thing where like you lean over to see what's going on, and I'm like, no, and I like grab you by the collar and yank you back as it explodes, right? Like one of those kind of things. And then I like throw an arm around your neck, and I'm like, do you see, by placing the charges actually in the rock at an angle, if we drill a hole, all of the explosion will be contained within the seam of the rock, and it will bring down substantially more stone on top of their heads. Do you see?
So that's like, where do you learn this? Who, like, most kids grow out of blowing up models. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw some worms outside. If you want me to throw them in there, make it extra.
No. You don't understand. This is how I talk to myself. It helps me see. By building it, I can picture it, and then by picturing it, I can improve on it.
How much improvement does it need before it's ready to go? Because we're on a clock here.
Well, I mean, it will certainly be imperfect. I mean, I'm sure that given several years, I could fully optimize everything, but I will be ready with whatever it is that I have managed to come up with when it's time to go.
It's time to go now.
Well, I suppose it will have to do.
Good.
Cool. What load are you bringing?
I'm bringing a normal load.
Yeah.
And in that normal load, I'm including black shot grenades. That is my utility, is black shot grenades, and I can bring my bandolier of alchemical stuff for free.
Cool. That seems on brand. Cool. Then we'll. What about Jarmil? What?
So I think.
How do they look like?
We see Jamil outside at the point where, like, when everyone gathers to go on the mission, actually, to when we set off, he's got supplies set up, is coated in like this big fur that he's got wrapped around his broad soldiers, and he's got a fine shield basically with like very faintly on the kite shield you can make out that it once had a crest on it, his family's crest, but otherwise he's loaded up, so he's got like that shield on his back. He's got a cavalry saber on his hip, and on one arm he's got a musket slung, and the other is like hoisting up a bundle of things, of supplies, fine climbing kit, So I'm going normal, which also gives me +2 utility. So I'm going with 4 utility. So I'm loaded and bearing a lot of the stuff here.
Cool. Lastly, Leonin, what do you look like, and what is your mood ahead of this crucial mission?
Sorry. Just in time to talk. Leonin is one of the Zemyati we rescued from the mountaintop. He's an older guy, and I gave him the Grenadier stat block, so I think he probably used to be a bit of a Dr. Boom. Maybe he's got like half an eyebrow left and like scars all over like the front of his body. And he probably a lot of the people that we found at the mountaintop were not really a fighting force. So I think Leonin is still capable, but it was like I said, he's a bit older. He's half blown himself to hell a couple times. So I think in some ways his mood is like, this might as well happen. Like there's not that many elder Zemyati, I don't think. He's like, you know, if I'm gonna go, might as well be like with 2 things I love, a mountain and a bag full of grenades. So Leon's pretty chill, I think. And I took the explosives training background, so I can always bring a grenade or explosive charges as part of my light load. So I think I'm gonna go light, so I can bring those explosive charges to start that explosion.
Cool. Then it's time for the engagement roll.
You can also go normal, because you always get the light load. So you always get it. Just if you wanted to go normal, you still get your 2 extra, the explosive charges. Just wanted to point it out. But if you want to be more agile, then light load is completely fine. Like Jamil is packed up with a lot of stuff. Sorry for the interruption, Mikhail.
No worries. Cool. So that's all the crew for this mission. It's time for the engagement roll. So for our viewers, these missions, they're all 1 obstacle mission. So that means that basically there's just 1 thing you have to do on every mission. I'm gonna decide based on the engagement roll what that obstacle is. So here it could be rigging the explosive, but it could also be like fighting your way through some undeads that has been placed on the route or something like that.
Yeah. So these are all oath sworn, right?
Yeah.
We've and this counts as a recon?
Yes.
Okay. We don't have any horses more to spend though, right? No more horses. So it's 1 die. No one is starting with heavy load, so it looks like one die to me.
Yeah.
Right. That's a 5. It's risky.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that I think actually what this is that you I just think like you find this like overhang, and you've been climbing like up, and Dr. Boom, you see this is the perfect spot. This will definitely like roll all the way down, and like you see already like the front of the army of Blighter below, and it would like create necessary avalanche. However, it is a bit the surface here is much smoother than the one you practiced on. And I think like the risky thing here is just like doing the rig. You have to do it like in a more risky way than you anticipated. How is that? Like, what about it does make it more dangerous than you thought?
Gosh, I think probably like we have to do it actually like while we're like, roped off, like, like someone has to lower us down from above, and we've got to like, bang holes in the rock with, the chisels or something like that, or pythons, and then, pack the charges in there. And, and we don't have the luxury of like standing on a ledge while we do this or something like that. We are literally being suspended kind of, over a pretty significant drop as we do this. And we've got to get it done before, any kind of advanced scout gets there. Or like just, to pull a random example out of my ass, someone with like 4-foot long black arrows that can shoot you from half a mile away. Like we want to get this done before that person shows up and starts just picking us off, pinning us to the cliff.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's why Jamil brought the fine climbing kit.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, that's gonna give you an extra effect here, I think. Because it makes it a bit... you can do more in one go than you would otherwise. Concentrating on like rigging the thing instead of, not falling down. Cool. So I think this is... So what are you planning to? How are you planning to rig it?
I mean, I think like we said before is like we drill some holes in the rock, or even just if it's like as simple as like take some hammers and like bang some chisels in to just get some gaps, and we just pack the explosives in there.
I have a wrecking kit.
Like run some cord between them, and then we're just going to light it off, and they're all going to go up at once, and this thing's going to crash down.
Cool. So
I kind of like the idea you said, like if there's an overhang like this, like if the cliff goes up and then it overhangs, the charges go there, it goes boom, and the whole thing just goes like right down on top of them like that.
Yeah, nice. That sounds like a plan. What are you rolling here?
Let me take a look at their character sheet. My hunch is this probably is going to be Wreck.
Yeah, Wreck or Rig, possibly.
Let me take a look. Yeah, it's actually going to be Rig, because we're setting this up to. Yeah, it's we're placing this all in we're putting it all in place and packing it all in and stuff. So yeah, I think Rig.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jamil is spotting you. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, sure.
So he's up there watching that, like the whole climbing gear stuff, and that is all safe and sound. He doesn't know anything about what you're actually doing there and why we have to set it charges up way down the cliff. That's
Yeah, because you know what makes Emilio's life easier is if all he has to do is say 10 feet to the right and doesn't even have to do anything, and they just haul him over there.
Yeah,
you know, 3 feet up, 10 feet down. They play it out. Then, you know, if he can just holler orders at them and get where he needs to go, that will make his life way easier.
Cool. So I think this, because of the fine climbing kit, is a risky crate. So that means that I have made a 4-tick clock for this. So it means you would have one left. But if you wanted to, you could either trade position for effect to get extreme effect, or you could push yourself.
I'm setting myself.
Oh, he's going to push himself.
Mm-hmm.
Could Russet do anything like? Could they scout for maybe soft ice, or perhaps brittle breaks in it, which would it help at all?
As an assist to give another die, potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
That costs 1 stress then.
Mm-hmm.
On my end.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm setting Jim. I'm setting Jamil up to protect you, to resist stuff for you, if you want that.
Cool.
Because I'm getting bonuses on that end. So you can
so,
decide to go more risky or push yourself or push the effect. It's up to you how you want to handle that.
So I'm getting a die for the help, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I pushed, that would give me 4. And I like great effect, so I think that's good. I don't feel like I'm going to roll 4 dice. But I'm not going to trade desperate for extreme effect. So I got 4 dice with great effect, right?
Are you leading a group action, or is this just?
No, this is the doctor is in.
All boom.
But before you roll, I do want to say that because the charges were carried by Leonin, right? Leonin has been like preparing them, setting them up as you're like. Is that what we see? Like that once you're like set up to be slowly let down, he's giving you them, or what's the interaction between you two explosive heads like?
Oh, he's at the top of the cliff. In case I blow myself up doing this.
He's our second chance.
He's all rigged and ready to go so that you can drop him down. Like if I get blown up or shot or whatever,
all right,
then he's got to be there, ready to go, hoping we don't need him, right?
Yeah, I think they probably had some kind of conversation before this all started, and it was unintelligible to anybody listening in. Like it was just a lot of excitedly passing between sticks of dynamite and stuff like that, and wild hand motions and noises.
Oh yeah, and like our hands at angles and do it like literally doing that thing that I did to illustrate it. We're all waving to each other and maybe grabbing a piece of chalk and sketching something on a piece of slate that I pick up as we're walking along and stuff. So yeah, I love that. The fucking nerds. Yeah.
Russet's listening in and just is silent apart from the slow blink, the slow blank blink, and the occasional flinch as they casually toss sticks of dynamite about.
Cool.
All right, so here we go. So should I go ahead and roll it up?
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got rig. Oh, hang on. Position is risky. Sorry, my my screen here. Effect is great. 2 bonus dice. Here we go.
You do it. So I imagine here like that you rig the charge successfully. That's what you do. The thing that's left to do on the clock is actually like blow it off. Like what does it look like as you like manage to put the last piece? Because are you doing this with blackshot grenades or what are you doing?
No, I think we're using didn't like our soldier had charges, right? Actual like charges, right?
Yeah, explosive charges.
Okay.
Cool,
Yeah. So we're using the explosive charges for that.
What's the triggering mechanism on this?
I mean, I think we've got like just, like old-fashioned primer cord, right? Like we've run like twine that has been soaked in basically like whatever, like soaked in gunpowder. And you light it off and it goes tss, and then one blows up and then the next blows up and the next blows up. Like I don't think this is a thing where we can rig it to like all go at once or anything like that.
No, I think so. The problem here and why this is still risky is that you don't have super long charge wires. So pretty much you're still standing on top of the thing as you're triggering it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no. If I didn't get this right, I'm going down the cliff along with everything else.
Who's the one setting the charges off? Because you're climbing up now, right? So.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be me. I'm going to tell everybody to back off, and I'm going to light it up. And if I did it, and if I did it right, the cliff face falls off in front of me, and I'm standing at the new edge of the cliff. And if it goes wrong, like that's the last thing you'll see is me, running towards you as the ground falls out from under me. I think.
Boom's moment.
Journal's up there too. I think.
Like
Is that what the setup action was?
We are all up there.
Oh, okay.
We're just a little bit safer distance, probably.
Yeah. So what does that conversation look like? Is that just like a look, and that it's Dr. Boom who's going to do this, or is it like do you exchange words doing it?
Oh, I think this like Emilio climbs back up and he's like, all right, I'm ready. Like back up. No, keep backing up. He's like, step back until they're, like I want them like 100 yards back on the top, whatever, like 100 feet back on the top of the cliff. A wide berth.
Yeah. And Jamil is like backing away and that's like, and Dr. Boom keeps yelling to back further, and he looks over to Russet, and they're like probably shrugging. Like we two are not really clued in how this is supposed to work, right?
Just do as he says. Just do as he says.
All right, sir.
Whatever. They've got their spyglass up and they're flicking between the charges and the column of undead troops, and they're just like, if you're gonna do something soon, do it now.
Yeah, I think probably under you see like the army starting to like advance under like this cliff, and you see probably like I imagine it's at least like 100 meters down, and you see like the shadow of this like overhang over them. And yeah, this is your risky standard effect roll to detonate.
Yeah, and is this still rig, or is this where we go to wreck? Because it's, I mean,
it seems like a rig to me still. If you wanted to use that.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So and I turn around, I give a thumbs up, and go back, and I've got my flint and steel and go shink, shink, shink. And on the third one, that spark falls, it hits the cord, and it starts going like that.
So what's supposed to happen now? I can't even. What's he doing?
Yeah, let's have that roll.
Yeah, so I'm gonna spend another 2 stress because why not? I've got it. And so this is risky with standard.
Yeah.
And we only need 1 tick, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take the die. So I got 3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Going for that. All right. So let's see what we got here, Rick.
I assist.
How would you assist here?
I think by just like maybe he's Leonard's using his knowledge of like explosives and stuff like that to be like, let him worry about the charges. I'm gonna be the one worrying about like being like, okay, stand back, farther, no, behind that thing, like
making sure no one else gets blown up. Yeah. that's
so
helpful.
that he can like just concentrate
Sure.
on the science part.
All right, so I've got risky. Put that in. Effect is standard. I've got 2 bonus dice.
That's a 5.
There it is.
Cool. I think so. The thing goes off. So you can describe to me like how this thing blows up and falls down on the army below.
I light it and I stand up and I like hold up a hand behind me like this, and it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then I just like pump my fist in the air, and there's like an earth-shattering kaboom that just deafens everyone. But I'm standing right there. I'm almost certainly not going to be able to hear for like 2 days after this. It'll just be like ringing tinnitus, right? But like I'm like holding my hands up, and like my head is bobbing up and down, and my arms are moving like I'm conducting an orchestra, right? As like all this rock is tumbling down, and like, probably the force of the explosion like causes like a secondary avalanche on the other side of the pass and all this kind of stuff. And it's all rolling and rumbling, and there's like, and you would expect normally if you drop, thousands of tons of rock onto a regular army that they would all be like screaming and yelling and stuff like this. But I think it's eerily silent, right? Because they're all undead. They're not, so there isn't the pandemonium of like noise from below that we might expect. But definitely there's just like this like plume of dust and gravel and, probably like snow and like pulverized ice and stuff, and I'm just like kind of covered in this dusting of it.
Yeah, we like lose sight of you.
And I look at everybody, and I have this. Yes. Oh yeah. I think you lose sight. It's all boom, and then like the smoke swirls, and I come walking out of it like with this huge grin on my face and 2 fists in the air.
Yeah, and
I walk up to my fellow demolitionist and just like throw myself give them a huge hug.
I think actually I'm going to interject a little bit there, because I think like what happens as a consequence here, because you're still partial success, is that as you like walk up, you I think in front of the rest of you see like this crack forming, and it's like and you I think also just like feel this, like you stop for a moment and you just hear the sound, and the stone that you're standing on like starts sliding down towards like the army.
Okay, I think as soon as you lose some, exactly. We see because I still had your safety line, right? So we suddenly see in the snow where the safety line gets pulled tight, right? And it's slipping up, and I'm realizing, oh shit, like I'm hanging on to you. And I brace myself, grab onto the line, and literally dig my heels in, and want to resist that you're not dropping off the ledge here.
That seems...
Which is probably prowess.
So prowess.
Okay. I'm also going to use my point of grit here to add 2 dice to that resistance roll. And it's literally like...
Can the rest of us grab it? Because I'm standing right next to...
No, because it's a resist.
It's a resistance roll. We're resisting the consequences. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. No. Like, there's probably, I think the way this looks is that I'm digging in my heels and I'm actually getting pulled through the snow until there's like these 2 rocky ledges like standing out, which I can then actually like get behind with my feet, and there's like this straining noise of Jamil like as I like feel the full weight, and then it lessens, and then I can start like pulling you up, and that's probably when you 2 come rushing in and help me pull Dr. Boom back up.
Cool. Yeah, and you still probably hear like the ringing in your ear. Like if this wasn't the last mission, had no consequence, this is probably be like your one harm ringing.
Yeah, like that was amazing.
Yes,
like he's going to be shouting at everybody because he can't hear like for the next 2 days, right? Yeah. Okay.
Russ just gone quite. Russ has just gone like very, very, very pale. Like they're obviously, they like to consider themselves quite a cool, collected person, but it's just out the window now, and they're just like, good job, yeah, just like just sort of weakly patting people on the shoulder, and they look through the spyglass again, and they just nod like I think that'll have to do.
Cool. And I think like the camera pans back to Skydagger Keep. Cool. So let's have a little break here. Grab 10 minutes, and then we'll be back for the last two missions here. See you in 10.
And you're good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it's good that Welcome back. We are halfway through our missions to make a last stand here. We just saw some major Dr. Boom action, and now it's time for the cavalry, or I guess not really the siege weapons, to be hauled up in position. But first, we have some reinforcing to do.
Reinforcing?
Yeah, the ramparts and gates.
Oh.
There's another roll on that clock.
Oh yeah.
So, and probably like from the keep, you see like this. I imagine like you might not. I don't think like the rock that we just blew up is so close that you can like it's right up with the keep, but you can definitely see it. You see like this whole big like there's tons and tons of rocks like fall down and like the dust come up, and I think like what is the mood like in the does that affect the mood at all in the keep? Is there any reaction?
I think there's a cheer going up, right?
Yeah, I think there's got to be a huge cheer that goes up when that like.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think everybody's like cheering, like. Oh, you're breaking up, Jim? I think everybody's like cheering, like including the grinning ravens, right? Until the first of them starts noticing Aurora scowling at them. And she's just like, you lucky bastards, they bought you some time to finish up your work. Lazy bums. Yeah. So that's another discipline roll there. Still +2 dice, right? And there's the crit.
Nice. That's 4 segments right there. And yeah, you all but. I mean, there's good odds you're gonna finish this in time, I guess. Like, so what is this like? What did you manage to finish up this time, and what does this like look like? The efficiency of this suddenly doing as much on this one roll as they did on the 2 previous ones.
I think it's a lot of it is the basically the second wind from seeing the destruction on the edge of the horizon, and what we're doing is we're actually working on the gate right now. So it's repairing it, strengthening it, and really locking it down. Like it's not actually easy to open anymore either. Right? There's like maybe like a side entrance you can get people in and out of single file, but the main gate, that's like shut and tight now.
Cool. So next mission is to assemble the siege weapon. So there are a few underground routes to siege weapon positions on the cliffs above. We don't know if the undeads have sent any units there overland or what might be in those tunnels. So you need to assign 1 squad and 2 specialists to this supply mission. You take +1 engagement roll if the Legion has a siege, if they have siege weapons, which we do, right, Quartermaster? Yeah.
Yep. So, and this is the one we're going to treat as an engagement roll with secondary one, right? So, and I look forward to hearing that description because this is going to be the Ghost Owls. This is our most elite squad. And it'll be Anthracite, and the cadre, who's going to be the one who's going to set out the actual artillery, and like, because repairing's one part of it. The other part of it is making sure they fire in the right direction and have everything set up, and that needs a specialist like the cadre. So it's a 1 die with everyone oath sworn, right? Everyone on this mission is a specialist or soldier. Finally, we get this one. So it's 2. And then we get a 3rd die from the siege weapons.
Mm-hmm.
Can I spend food on this one?
Yes, supply mission.
Oh yeah, do you still have food?
Yeah, we didn't.
Yeah,
eat for this.
we didn't take it before, so that I could use it here.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
let's
please take the last of the snacks.
Yeah, we skipped a meal for this.
Yeah. So that's 4 dice. That's
What could go wrong?
the most we've ever had on a engagement roll, I think.
Well, I remember one time we had 3 and we failed. So just say. Yeah.
There's the 6. But it's under the command of the cadre. So, Jim, if you want to describe how this goes down, and
It says all specialists take level 1 harm, which means some people are going to get hurt, right?
yeah.
And I think that this is not like we managed to avoid any patrols, any other undead or anything like that. And like, to the extent that the specialists are hurt, this is like pulled muscles, things getting dropped on feet, like rope burns from setting it all up and stuff like this. But that in general, like, I feel like this just goes really smoothly. They like I think that the because we're hauling them through tunnels, we have kind of broken down the siege weapons to some extent. Like if it's a trebuchet, like we've like unlashed it and laid it flat on a sledge or a cart or something like that. And we just haul them through the tunnels, and we end up on, probably on some kind of elevation overlooking the, you know what? I feel like this is a thing where we're going to be a good, like, quarter mile away from the keep when we come up, and we're turning and pointing the siege weapons like in the direction of the keep. And the reason we need the cadre to make sure that this goes perfect is that, like, we're rigging these things so that, like, when we wing the trebuchet, it's gonna like take a great big flaming ball of explosive black shot and land it like 50 feet from that, the door in the massed undead that are going up against the wall. So we're effectively kind of shooting back at ourselves, but the cadre has everything aimed and stuff properly so that it will drop it onto the undead, as opposed to actually like, putting holes in our own wall. But it's definitely like we've managed to create like a pincer kind of a thing where like they'll be going at the walls, but we'll be behind them shooting at them from a protected position.
Awesome. Yeah.
Because he's obsessed, right? So probably during the rest and recuperation phase, he was like doing pages and pages of like plans.
Well, specifically the thing that like, I think the thing that I am obsessed with, that the cadre is obsessed with, is he wants to like make it up to the chosen for like whatever, for taking that opponent, like for basically taking that victory away from her, because she like said right to his face, it should have been me that killed him. And so now the cadre is like she's right, but what could I do? And now I'm gonna do everything to clear the field so that she can go after Blighter, who will almost certainly be shown up here, or one of the lieutenants or something like that, or the head of the Black Oak Knights, And my goal is to clear a path for her so that she can just get in there and wreak some havoc.
Cool. And I think that's this smash cut to probably actually her, and you see her like looking up at that at like the trebuchet, and then like looking out at the battlefield. And now it's time for holding the second wave. And this is actually literally to fight off a lieutenant. So she'll get the chance here. And this is a assault mission.
And the other thing is like very explicitly, like I think there is that moment where like before the mission, the cadre goes to the quartermaster to ask him for like the last Crimson Seeker shell we have in inventory, and the quartermaster's like, just no way. Like, I have been ordered not to let you anywhere near one of those things. So he does not get to have that with him.
Okay. Jim, does that mean you want to opt out of playing the cadre in this last mission?
I don't think the cadre is not available for the last mission because he was participated in the secondary mission. That's my understanding of how that works, right?
But that's time-wise before the actual final wave.
That is how it works, though. The specials we have used now are not available for the last one.
Oh, they're not available for the...
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sure. Then...
that was my understanding. Yeah, so...
Yeah, but someone needs to be shooting those...
Being a spotter?
Those siege weapons is what I was thinking. But that's fine. For the final mission, we obviously got the Kingfisher and Val. We get one more roll on the ramparts, though, right?
Yes, and if you finish it, which you will, you add 1 to your engagement roll.
I think we are finished.
Yeah.
It's
A
one.
crit is
We
5
already
segments,
finished it?
not 4.
It was still. Is it? What
We
did
got
I
a 2, and then a 3, and then a 5, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Finished. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I thought we were done. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I guess we're done.
Okay.
How does like the I guess say who is going on the mission and stuff, and we'll have like a small round around the table and see how people are.
Well, it's our 2 heavies and the Ember Wolves, then, because everybody else is on other missions.
I mean, we got to have the moves on this mission, right?
Yeah, I mean, Violet is part of the Ember Wolves, right? So she can ride it. We've got Midi the soldier. So I think it's pretty clear, right? Unless you want to play a Zur, Jim, you could also play a Zur here. But I think I'll be playing Midi. Joel, you get your Val, and Tom, you were such a good Kingfisher. Does that sound good to everyone?
Yeah, sounds good.
And yeah.
Cool. So you are in front of the gate, and the Chosen is also there. She is just like looking empty into like the troops that are coming. Yeah, you get to do. We're gonna describe how you look, and then we're gonna do roll. So you see. I think she just like says, finally we're here. Now you just have to do the last push. She like nods, and I think she like bends over onto her like to be on all four, and it just like changes, and you see her like growing into like this huge bear, and then it just like look towards you and run in, and I think you see like this scar on her chest as well from render. And we like the camera looks at the four of you and the rookies and describe what you look like, what load you have, and feel free to like elaborate a little bit. You want to go first, Joel, describing Val?
Yeah. Val is like kind of similar to the commander. She's a big lady. She's probably like 6 feet or something like that. She keeps her hair, which is kind of a gingery blonde, like really short. Probably like back in training, somebody grabbed it and she was like, never again. And keeps her hair cut. She's wearing her traditional kind of Zemyati armor with the metallic braids in it that she's gotten all polished up for the final battle. She knows, like, a lot of the time she's at the front, so she likes to kind of make an impressive figure, basically. So she's made sure all of her armor looks nice and her shield's polished and everything. And I guess the only other like unusual thing is she's got like a brown dry leaf that she's like looking at, and then when the horn one like nods, she kind of like tucks it into her armor, like down through her breastplate.
Cool. What about you, Kingfisher? What you look like, and what load? Remember.
So Kingfisher's gone all out. I mean, before he sort of looked like an old man, wearing, armor, like a man past his prime. But now in his fine, perfectly fitted like plate armor and his huge shield in one hand, his massive sword in the other, you get a glimpse of like the warrior he used to be. And he checks himself. He looks at. He makes sure his Zemyati blood oath knife is close to him, and you see his arms. He's obviously done several blood oaths throughout his life. He's an old warrior, and he sort of maybe turns to Mitty, who was only just become a soldier, right? Is that correct? And maybe looks Mitty up and down. There's a grudging but respectful like nod, like.
And to us it looks like, oh, who's the soldier that the Kingfisher's greeting? Because it takes a moment to sink in that this is Meaty and in full scale mail armor, like all done. I'm like with helmet and a shield, and like she's literally loaded for bear, and There's like a musket leaning to the side of her. She's got I think she's got something wrapped up, like a wrapped up bundle, that is kind of in a familiar form to the Kingfisher, and yeah, and I think she's in this moment loading the musket with like a first round of black shot.
And it's this. There's obviously a juxtaposition between the old sort of sword and shield, tall, full-fitted plate, and then the sort of the younger musket. There's sort of a old ushering in the new kind of vibe, maybe.
So I'm also heavy. I like that a lot.
Cool.
And I think, yeah, and it's the nod towards Val, and then looking. Are you coming up with the war moose now? Jim might be.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah. So like, I think that this is a thing where like the moose is just like kind of down, like resting, and there's a small wagon, like an open topped wagon that just has like hay piled into it, and it's just got its face down in it, and it's just kind of chomping away as Violet is kind of walking around it, patting it on the sides and stuff like this and everything, and just kind of running her hand along it. And I think this is kind of one of those things where we sort of establish that like she is there to tend the moose, and and I think the other thing we like you get corruption when you mount this thing, right? Is how that works.
Yeah, you take corruption.
Yeah, and is that a thing that you can resist when you do it, or it just happens?
I guess you can resist if you wanted to. So, what that's like is that this is a ancient magical creature, right? And you're a soldier. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and I think what it and so yeah. So I'm just going to mark the corruption, because I think like the way this looks is that it's like a thing where, when it's time, Val like nods at her or waves or whatever it is, like, okay, we're going to go now, and she just and she's got the full plate and the and she has a like a pike, right, like a 10-foot long spear or something like that, that's like almost twice as tall as she is. That is what she's going to use while she's on this thing's back. And she walks up and she kind of like leans in and whispers something in its ear, and then kind of, runs a hand along its neck, and then just like clambers awkwardly onto its back. And, it rises up. And for a moment, like she kind of snorts and tosses her head in the same motion that the moose makes as it stands up, and like grips the side of it for a moment, and then just kind of like does one of these, and then her eyes come back into focus, like, and she like pats it, she kind of pats it twice on the neck, and like it it stands back up and kind of starts to slowly stalk out ahead of the squad. and she's she doesn't have any stirrups or anything like that. Like she's just on this thing's back, and hopefully it is not going to toss her off while she's on it. Like I don't think like she does not ride it so much as it allows itself to be ridden. Is what's going on here. And she's like, right up against the nape of its neck, and she's got that great big spear, which is kind of like, the haft of which she's just like resting, maybe like where her boot comes up, she's just kind of jammed the spear in there so that it kind of rides up like this as she goes. Oh, and you know what? She totally has that pennant. Like on the end of her spear there. And she's gonna be the one that has that on the back of the moose as we ride out there with the pennant of the Legion flapping in the breeze, and then when it comes time to fight, she's just gonna, it's gonna be on that spear while she's fighting, because this is, either it's gonna return covered in the blood of our enemies, or this is the end of the Legion.
Awesome. Engagement roll.
So I guess this is called surviving the second wave, because the first wave gets struck down by the artillery.
Yeah.
All right.
Or the mountain, perhaps.
Yeah. So everyone is oath sworn, right? Not everyone in the Ember Wolves is a soldier, though. So that's one. Did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot? Yeah. So that's 2. I guess that's 2, right? No one is starting wounded because we took care of that, so that's good. 2 dice.
Yeah, you also get 1 for having finished the Rampers and Gate mission.
Yep. So that's 2 additional dice or 1 die?
1.
1. Okay, so it's 3 dice total. Here we go. It's a 5. I mean,
yeah, okay.
It's risky, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, you're in a battle.
Yeah.
So I imagine you see. Okay, that's kind of cool actually, because you see like probably from the camera is like over the undead army, as we see like the horn run in their bear form, like charging in, and you see like the war moose catching up behind, probably with their like horns lowered, and the rest of you like running in behind, and soon you find yourself like surrounded by crows with their like plague masks, like jabbing at you, and you see the Horned fighting with his lieutenant. It's almost like it's a like a kind of that made almost look like clockwork. I imagine them looking a little bit like this, and you see this is a very different fight than what we saw with Render, who was like a month of a man, which was more like a power battle. But this is more like with guile and agility, and them like jumping around, and you also see, I think, like one of these like quite a bit of horrors, and one of them is coming for you, and you see them. They have you see like these kind of like tanks that hangs on his back, and like there's you smell like you hear like the rotten flesh, like kind of like right as they move, and like the foul stench even like 10 meters away, and probably I think you on the Wormers are like headed right against him, and there's like no way you're stopping. It seems like almost like the moose has decided this is like my target, and they like take their long arm, probably like consisting of like 2 full human bodies, and like takes a swing. It's risky.
So this is, I mean, yeah. So then I think like if the moose has its head down and it's going at it, yeah, I feel like I'm just gonna like take that spear, drop it down, in the crook, like in the crotch of one of those antlers, and kind of just use it as, and that tip of that spear is going to hit, as that arm swings around, I'm running the tip of that spear right at it and hoping that it like spears it through and hangs on to it enough that then when the antler hits it, we can rip it right off of that thing.
Cool. So they are threat 4, and you because of you're on the back of the Wormoose, you are also 1 scale. So you still start at the limited effect, risky.
Okay. And this is going to be, and this is probably straight up just this is skirmish, right?
Could definitely be that. Are you pushing for effect or dice or anything like that?
So right now I've got risky with limited effect.
Yep.
I'll definitely push for a die. So I don't think I'm getting any help on this one. This is just us just rolling right in there. So that puts me at 2 dice. What's a devil's bargain here?
That you break your lance or spear.
Oh yeah, I'll take that. I'll take that for effect, I think.
You can't do it for effect, but you can push for effect and then get a die for the bargain if you want it.
Oh,
which
so
gives
let
the same
me.
result.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that then. So that would put me to standard.
Yeah, standard effect.
Right, and I've got 1 bonus die, so I'm going to go ahead. And do that. Do I want to push it to desperate?
You could.
No, I'll go. I could, couldn't I? Yeah. I'm gonna push it to desperate.
Cool. That gives you great effect.
And trade that for puts the effect to great, right?
Yeah, the consequence here is pretty clear. Like you're not trying to you're banking on like hitting this so hard.
Oh yeah,
so they can't hit you.
Yeah, yes. All right. Okay. Cool. So here we go. This is skirmish, and position is desperate. Submit. Effect is great. Submit. And I've got 1 bonus die, right? Yeah, was what we had. That's right, because I used 1 for effect and then a bonus die. All right, cool. So we got that. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, that's a 5. You hit, and it hits. So that's what happens. Like you can describe like how you hit it first.
Yeah, I think like that arm comes up and I realize what's happening, and like I said, I just kind of drop that spear and sort of slide it forward and just like wedge it hard against my shoulder because I know that this is gonna hurt. And the tip of the spear hits and goes in, and like it is like the haft is snapping like even before the moose hits it. And when the moose hits that arm, like if I'm even holding it anymore, I'm holding like 3 feet of it just sheared right off. But yeah, assuming that this works the way I want it to, it just like its antlers, that rack of antlers hit that arm, and there's like messily shred it, I think. It's not, this is not like it slices it off. Like if it's a couple of bodies together, this is like, like ripped apart at the torso, spines twisted off and stuff like that. It is like an ugly mess. And it's just waving this like messily severed arm.
The arm that it had behind it hits you right in the middle of your body. And it's like being hit by a truck, pretty much. You take 5 harm.
All right, so let's see what we've got here. I'm going to resist that.
And also, just for our viewers who might be wondering how I calculate this, so there's a threat difference of 3 here because they are threat level 4, but you have 1 scale on them. So that means that it's 3. And on a desperate situation, it's 3 harm, and I plus on 2 because of the difference. That leaves me with 5 harm.
Okay, so I've got fine heavy armor.
Yeah. That can give you, how much can that absorb? 2, right?
I think I can suck 2, right? Yeah. And
then you can resist for another one if you want to.
Yeah. What does grit do for me?
It can add 2 dice to a resist roll.
Why don't I spend that right now then? I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
So this way. So right, it's 5. So armor would make it 4. Heavy would make it 3. And then you start resisting to make it 2, basically.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is this is probably prowess, right? Yeah. All right. Okay. So here we go. So here's a prowess. And I get 2 bonus dice for the grit, right?
Yeah, that's
5. So I'm going to take one stress, and I'm at level 2 harm, right?
Yeah, it's probably like a bruised rib or something, bruised rib cage or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So I notch. Oh no, I don't do any of that at all. But so okay, all right, okay. So cracked ribs.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And the rest of
there, yeah.
The rest of you are running in behind, and you see this arm that is, it's the size of a small fridge probably, hitting the might with full might while in speed, but somehow I guess you just see the moose passing by, and you might not even see that they are okay probably at this point. what do you do, the three of you?
What does our commander make us do in this situation?
Where's the chosen one?
Oh yeah, they're fighting this clockwork lieutenant.
Yeah, they're right in the middle of the brawl.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe we just try and follow after the moose to try and get closer to her.
So basically, what it looks like is that there's a lot of like troops from the undead army here that are like swarming and trying. You see, probably like they're probably gonna try to climb up the walls. There might be someone up there who tries to like push them down again, or there's like this lieutenant that almost got pierced, but still like almost stands with the war moose just passed by them, and then also there's the chosen one who's fighting this clockwork assassin.
So did Violet get knocked off the war moose?
No.
No. Okay. Cool.
But probably you just like see them pass, right, and you see them get hit like real hard, and this is like like a killing blow. And I don't think like you see that they're okay yet.
Does Violet actually have a weapon now, or is the lance the only weapon?
Violet's got a musket and a musket and a pistol, just like and and whatever her regular hand weapon is.
Okay, well. Good. Okay, so if we've just charged out the gatehouse, am I get that? We've charged out the gatehouse into the front of the attacking wave. Maybe Kingfisher's just covering the flank so they don't get surrounded. Because that would probably, if they get cut off from Skydagger, that's a bad thing to happen. So I think he's just there, shield up, just swinging to try and keep a path open.
Cool. You also have a 10 clock here, so you can fill it however you want. The thing is not dead, no. Like it's severely wounded, but it's a lieutenant, so.
Yeah. I mean, I think if it's not dead, we maybe should try and finish it off.
Yeah. Cool. So the Kingfisher, you go to like hold your flank while you will command the rest of you to like charge at the big meat sack, which is called the Black Rottingale. It's a lieutenant of.
So what is that? What kind of action?
I don't know.
Well,
what do you think? Well, what action is that?
Are you marshalling us, or is this already?
I mean, is it a group action that you're all participating in?
Yeah. I think it's probably a skirmish. Like it's Val. She's probably gonna go in swinging.
And the goal is to get us as a squad on this thing. Now that's been like wounded and like has its stride broken, or what's the goal here?
Yeah, I think if we lose Violet and the moose, that's bad. So the idea is to, while the thing is like stunned, finish it before it can finish Violet, because Violet alone doesn't have a chance against this thing, probably.
Yeah.
Cool. See I think this is so you're acting as a group here. Gives you you are a medium group, I guess, because you also have your 5 rookies, and then I guess only you. So okay, 6 then. Yeah, still medium group. That means you have 2 scale on this Black Rottingale, but they have 3 threat on you, so you start at a limited effect.
Okay.
And risky position. I think it's still, because it's a bit like knocked down by this previous attack by Violet charging moose.
Okay. So I have 3 skirmish, and then an extra die in group actions, and then if I push myself, I gave myself War Machine, so if I push myself, I can reduce the threat of all enemies by 1.
Okay, cool. What does that look like?
So it is perform a feat of physical force that verges on the superhuman. So I think Val is gonna like run up in there, and maybe it's like Meaty helps her with this. She tells Meaty to like get down and put up her shield, and then Val jumps on it and is trying to like she's, I think, probably even like using her hands, gonna like try and tear off the tanks from the back of this thing.
Yeah.
That are like providing the gas or like chemicals or whatever that's animating it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think what makes all of this skirmishes is that not the whole squad is trying to wound this thing. We're all trying to basically create the room for Val to do this, right?
Yeah.
So everyone else is like, yeah, I'm doing the thing to set you up so you can actually have like a leaping off point, and the rest of the squad is like making sure none of the other undead get in the way, so they're cutting them down.
Okay. So
Cool. That gives you a standard effect because you reduce their threat.
Okay.
You want to change position for effect?
Maybe what would an anchor do to up our scale up another one?
Then you get great effect.
Okay, so I'll use.
This killing this, yeah, the killing this thing
What is it?
adds to the whole clock, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll use an anchor. So then it's risky.
Great.
Great.
You
I
can
pushed
still
myself.
change position for effect if you want to have desperate extreme. Sounds very, very nice, doesn't it? GM dangles danger in front of you.
I mean, it does sound nice, but don't we have more things to fight after this? Or no?
Well, it's a 10 o'clock, which you have filled 3 of. So you would be at 7 if you succeed here. Of course, if you fail this, you'd be pretty screwed.
Stick with risky. Like if going to desperate let us fill the clock, then maybe. You know what? I'm saying that as someone who just swapped for who did that myself. I should probably shut up.
I mean, I am rolling like 5 dice.
Yeah, and you get dice for media and also for the rookies. So I mean, it can go wrong, but the chances of it failing completely is pretty low.
Killing this thing also removes a big source of damage.
Yeah, it does.
So I think it's worth it.
Let's do it.
Risky,
Desperate.
extreme. And it sounds very metal with Val there and with this War Machine.
It's our finest hour.
Okay, so then
This is totally like totally the thing where like Batman is on Bane's back trying to pull the the chemical tubes out of him. It's like, yeah.
Yes. So then 1 bonus dice because I pushed myself. 1 because I get it when I lead group actions. And then was that an assist from Meaty?
No, it's a group action.
No, it's a group action.
Okay.
I'm pushing myself as well, though. Like, this is really like we see Meaty, who's like actually screaming at that point when Val like takes a step onto her shield, right?
Okay.
And she's screaming her lungs out in battle fervor.
Did was Kingfisher assisting with the flank thing, or was that just like?
I don't know. I can be.
It's a great setup for you to protect us from consequences, because if things do go wrong here, even if they don't, we'll be like there's stuff for you to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's stuff for you to do either way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like bring us home after this stunt.
Okay.
I'm
that's
ready.
2. Okay.
You say when.
All right.
Captain.
Doing it.
Yeah, that's the 6 because here's the stress for you. I think it's you step onto the shield and the ground beneath me like gives way and I like sink in.
Yep, this is all you.
Yeah, this is all Val.
Okay. So then, how much stress do I get?
That's a total face plant in the mud. Yeah.
It's a 1 you have to suffer 1 stress because you compensate for my bad roll and 1 stress for compensating from the rest of the squad.
Okay.
So you take this thing down all by yourself. What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I think the stress is still probably like left over from like last time where Val is like, I have to do this or they'll leave me. I have to do this or they'll leave me. And like, so she's like, I'm gonna do it. Like, come, hell or high water. And yeah, she jumps off of the thing. And I think it's probably desperate because she like put her axe and her shield back on her back and like jumps onto the back of this thing and is like just screaming and like ripping the tubes out of it and like yanks the like there's probably a terrible sound and like a spray of like blood and pus and goo when she like rips whatever like keeps this thing running out of it and like throws it at some other undead and like she's just like, I'm gonna take this thing apart with my bare hands.
Yeah, and it just like falls to the ground like boom. And it's
Val's
like
still on top of it.
Yeah, probably like standing knee deep in like rotten flesh, to be honest. Like that. And meanwhile, Kingfisher, you are trying to hold the front from all these like crows who are around you, like this undead with like these plague masks and like all kinds of like I mean diverse kind of weapons. There's whatever the weapons of the people that they who they were before, with daggers and swords and spears and whatever. What does that look like? What are you doing?
So he's a whirlwind in combat. Like it's sort of defies belief that someone like as old as he is and as heavily armed can be as quick. Like he's it's not so much deflecting as it is just not being where he should be, and the crows are just missing, and then before they know it, a huge sword just come out of nowhere and just like taking their head off, or they just been smashed in the face by a shield. They're just being flung about the place. There's this massive brawl basically going on. While all the young kids are doing all their acrobatics in the background.
Awesome. What are you rolling here?
I suppose it'd be skirmish.
Yeah.
Are we happy with skirmish?
Yeah. So I imagine like you're not really fighting like any single enemy. You're just like fighting this continuous onslaught of undead and like trying to keep the way clear. So I imagine this being a little bit risky. You're like one against like whoever many can fit around you. But it's not desperate, I think, actually, because I mean you're a seasoned fighter. Standard, but I think it's yeah, let's say limited effect.
So I've got Weapon Master,
and
it says when you push yourself, you can gain potency in melee combat. If I push myself, does that mean I then take stress?
Yes, you push yourself, but you also gain. This is where your like extraordinary fighting skills come in. So if you do that, you get standard effect instead. Like actually being able to fight like these 10 at a time at like equal footing.
Okay, let's.
And you get the die for pushing yourself.
Okay, can I do that then?
Yeah.
So how much stress is it? Is it 2 or 1?
Yeah, 2.
2. Okay, so this will then be my skirmish plus 1 die for pushing myself, right? And is this risky?
Yes, risky standard.
Risky standard. Bonus die 1. That'll do it.
Yeah. Tell me how you like manage to keep the flank clear alone against like these these numbers enemies.
Just a big sword. So he's just like he sort of bashes one into another one, then drives them both through with his sword. Then while his huge two-handed sword's in, he draws a smaller sort of. Well, it's a smaller sword for him, but it's still probably like a bastard sword or something. So it's still like huge. He just like takes one's head off, resheathes it, drags the two-handed sword back out, like headbutts some guy, like cracking their mask. Like it's a one-man army type thing, I think.
Cool. I'll do a fortune roll for the one against David's lieutenant now. We'll see this. They might be able to end it after all if they can roll good dice here.
It's the Kingfisher is basically Kratos from God of War. That's a.
How does fortune work? Is that? Oh, okay.
Well, they are on equal footing, it seems. Like fighting, and she can't get like the winning blow in. I think probably. I think probably you Violet, you're on the other side now, and like you see them like fighting the clockwork assassin not being aware of you. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna so like that big thing has gone down. And I think at this point, this is when like the moose just puts its head down and we just kind of, charge around and through. And I want to get my friends out of there and like back to the fort so that they can just start raining stuff down here.
Cool.
So that our friends with the artillery can start just bombarding it.
There can also be a group action if you wanted it to be, like getting back.
Like a maneuver.
Yeah, I feel like
all
it's
of us.
Yeah. I'll lead and we do maneuver. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that starts at great effect actually, because there's just like foot troops here, and you actually have like a war moose and these two heavies, right? So you're actually at like to just get through them. I think you have a great effect.
But it's still
Fantastic.
risky, right?
Yeah. And you need still 3 to fill up the clock, but you are at 3, I guess. So
yeah, if it's a great effect.
Yeah.
We all ready? This is for every one of us.
Yeah.
So I've got 3 bonus dice for the group action, right? Is how that works?
No, we are all rolling the same. So we all pool our maneuver.
And then that's right. Right. And then yours, like if we get...
But you're leading, I think. That's what it sounds like, yeah.
I think so, yeah. I'm not going to push because I might take stress from you guys blowing your rolls.
Yeah.
But because I'm cavalry and I'm mounted, I get a bonus die for this action, for maneuver. So, do you guys roll first? Do I go ahead and roll? What order do we do it in?
At the same time?
Yeah.
I'm pushing myself for a bonus die.
Are you leading with the war moose here, Violet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Actually, you know what? Maybe I should push. Except I might take stress for...
I'm rolling 2 dice, so that's another 2 dice. We only need to get 1 6. I don't know how much maneuver the other 2 have.
I have 2 and then an extra because it's a group action.
I only have 1, but I have stress. I've got 4 stress boxes unticked. If you think I should push,
there's gonna be 1 6 under all those dice. I don't think you need to.
Yeah,
push
I'm not gonna bother pushing then. Yeah, I won't bother pushing.
Okay, I'm ready. Someone say go because I'm not the leader here.
Why don't you go ahead and roll? I want to see what all you guys do, and then I'll do mine last.
It's risky effect. It's just hold on.
Risky, great.
Risky, great. Bonus dice 0, 5.
Yeah. So 2 stress.
What do you got, Val?
Fail, but it's just it's 2 stress for you. The rookies failed and failed, but the others 2 we already have a success from MIDI.
Yeah, MIDI did it.
So I get 2 stress.
Yes.
You have to roll also.
But you still have to roll.
Okay. So I did not trauma out, so that's nice. So here we go, maneuver. We got that. Position risky. Submit. Effect is great. Got that. I have 1 bonus die because I'm cavalry.
Yes, it's another success.
Nice.
There it is. There's the 6.
So describe to me how you make it back to the wall, and probably get in as well, I guess, because you managed to hold the line here. This is
Yeah. So like, I mean, the like we like the moose wheels around and just kind of like, you know, all it has to do is kind of put its head down and sort of knock it back and forth. That's like a snowplow, just like sending, you know, regular like front, you know, just like mook zombies just kind of flying and stuff like this and everything, you know, and we kind of roll by and I like, you know, hold down a hand and like the stress is because like the others know what's going on and they see me coming and they just sort of fall in, you know, right next to the moose and are just like running alongside it, letting it clear a path. But the rookies are just like, don't know what's going on. And so I have to literally like, you know, on one side, I have to reach down and like grab one of them, like literally by the collar and kind of drag them behind the moose, you know, and the other one, you know, I'm like, come on, get on. And like the stress I take is I've got to grab this, you know, this tenderfoot and haul them along while my ribs are cracked, right? So I'm like, as they're just kind of being dragged alongside the moose, and maybe like they finally manage to like, you know, literally just like grab a hank of hair and kind of haul themselves up, you know, like face down, arms wrapped around the moose, you know, the back of the moose, just barely hanging on. And the moose just clears a path and you guys run alongside it and we go in through that side door.
Yeah, so
that you talked about.
Yeah, a little bit before that, right? As soon as like the retreat is signaled, Meaty, who's like been like half buried up to her knees into the muddy battlefield, was stuck there and trying to get herself free to continue the fighting. And then here's the commands to retreat back to the wall, right? She just looks down and is like, oh, damn it, and undoes the armor around her lower shins, right? And just steps out and is now very nimble on barefoot running backwards. And the first one to basically reach the wall and like guide people in that you're like shielding from the other undead.
That's fantastic. That she comes back from her mission barefoot. I love that.
Cool. But it's not over. This is it. You come up and you see like the camera pans over to like the wall and you see Blighter and like the full army charging against the walls. This is the last wave of this campaign, and this is resolved with a fortune roll to see how the Legion weathers it. So now, after all this hard work, it's come down to one roll of the die. You wanted to go take us through it, Marshall? I can do it as well, but this is.
I don't even know how the last roll works.
Cool. I'll do it then.
Yeah.
So there's an assembling of dice here. So first, the survivors always start with 1 die for making it to the final wave.
Okay.
The chosen take +1 die if your chosen is still alive and with the Legion.
Yes.
Take +1 die for each siege weapon the quartermaster has. So that's 1, right? Yeah.
Yep, 1.
Take +1 die if the Legion has both a mercy and an alchemist. Yeah. Take +1 die if you lit the fires at Kevala. I don't know what it is, so I guess we didn't.
No.
Take +1 die if someone in the Legion can weave moonlight, and I think we actually do. So we have one who has taken the weave at once, and we haven't seen them on screen, but this is definitely what they're doing then.
I think Russet has weave, actually.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's 5 die. Take +1 if the Legion has fire oil. You don't, right?
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either. Take +1 if you can ring a bell to end a broken power. We didn't take that special mission.
No.
We don't do that. Take +1 die if you have the head or a chain of a past chosen.
I don't think we do.
No. Take +1 die if the Legion carries an old Empire Warding Stone. We don't have that. Take -1 die if Legion morale is 3 or less. We don't have that.
This is like when you're like finished with a video game, you're like, what trophies are there, right? What achievements?
Yeah.
You're like, what? Where the hell are these?
Yeah, it really is. Take -1 die if you have 3 or fewer time remaining. We do have 3 or fewer time remaining. So it's back to 4. We came in the last minute. Take -1 die for each lieutenant or infamous left alive. I guess that is 2 because the render ones are not here. And
Are
we
there-
just killed
we-
one.
We killed like a bunch of Black Oak Knights during that
Yeah.
same fight as well.
Yeah, but we're not counting that at all because they are gone because you killed render. But there's still 2 of the ones of the other one of Blighter. So we're back at 2. Oh no, it seems to go so well. Take -1 for each incompleted or failed Skydagger Keep mission. Yeah, so we did do all of those. So that's 2 dice.
Wow. Wow.
It's not as many as we would want.
Well,
Does it say who's supposed to roll those?
it doesn't.
Okay.
Doesn't.
Who's the poor soul who's going to do that?
Is there any volunteers?
I mean, I would do it, but I don't know if you want me to do it.
Man, I feel like this is when it comes down to the commander.
Yeah.
I gotta say
Yes.
Yeah.
that this is what, like, this is all the planning and the which route do we take and everything, which missions. Because this is about, like, the things we don't have is because we didn't do those missions.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a fortune roll button on that sheet too, right?
Yeah, it's top right on the character sheet.
Okay, so this is the I want the commander sheet.
On the commander sheet, yeah, there's a roll fortune button as well.
And is it just you need a 6?
Well,
We'll see.
you want the crit. That's what you want.
Yeah, we want 2 6s.
You don't say. All right. So let's see what we got here. Here's the commander. All right. Character sheet. Roll fortune. 2 dice.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Submit. Notes. Notes.
That's a 5.
It's a 5. At least it's a 5. Okay.
So, on 4 to 5, bitter. -10 points to final score. The Legion may hold, but this will likely be their last stand. Okay, so what do you think this looks like?
Should we?
I mean, man, I feel like this is like this is when we see the officers actually, like, in the fight. You know, like, this is the commander armored up with her, you know, that great big poleaxe that she uses.
Yeah.
You know, standing side by side with the marshal as they are, you know, and, you know, like I feel like the quartermaster right there on the walls, directing people where to, bring arrows and blackshot grenades to and stuff like that.
The lore keeper's there, just writing everything down, just in the middle of the chaos, just with a book, just like.
Oh, that's awesome! Yeah, totally. Yeah, recording it for posterity.
Recording the names as she watches them fall.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, I'm counting the final points here. How many relics do we have? It's the war moose. And that's it, is it?
Didn't we get a banner?
Yeah.
I thought we got some kind of banner.
Yeah, there was a thing about it.
Oh yeah. I don't think that was when you the Kingfisher mission.
Yeah.
Okay. 120, and you slew 2 lieutenants.
And
Well, I
one
guess
broken.
And a broken.
Yeah, you get points for that. Calm down.
Yeah. Better get some goddamn points for that.
You're at 150 points. So for that means low scores, less than 100 points mean you'll start weaker in the next campaign. Okay, so it's not a low score. Higher scores above 200 indicated starting in an excellent position. So I guess it's in the middle of the road kind of thing here, score-wise. Cool. Well, I guess that is.
Wow.
That's yeah.
Yeah. So is this if this means we do it, but the Legion is broken? Is this like a final stand and the inner battlements pulling back? And I don't know. Is this the last thing to bring down Skydagger, keep on top of the enemy, or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds.
I mean, they've paid for like every step, haven't they?
Well, what exactly does the text say about 150 points?
Oh, the text doesn't say that.
I feel like that's actually good.
Yeah,
100 would be average. 200 is excellent. So like I think 150 is actually probably like pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just that it's just the result of the last wave, which is the poor result here is the Legion is hard pressed to survive the winter, much less against the undead. So it's better than that. But it's probably we are free to make it whatever we want here, as long as it's I guess for points wise we're like above average, at least.
Yeah, but I think what this means is the Legion won't exist anymore like it does now. But what we achieve is some breathing room for basically the next campaign that follows after this. That will, like, for the lands to the east beyond Skydagger Keep, they get some time to prepare and not be like caught with their pants down.
Yeah, hold the winter probably.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, I mean, yeah.
Would anyone like to add anything to like the fiction for that? Or
I'm wondering if maybe being in a good position points wise, but the Legion does poorly, and like the idea of setting things up like for the next group is that like it's more that the Legion kind of, not necessarily that like, probably a group does stay at Skydagger Keep in like a suicide mission, but also like the Kingfisher or somebody gets sent to like the Zemyati lands to be like a leader there, and like some of the people are just like sent to different places because we, with like the Legion technology of like black shot grenades and things like that.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool. I love that. Like basically, like the officer, like the commander and the officers stay behind with like a small handpicked squad, like just to like last as long as they can with the siege, and then they send each of the specialists with a squad out to different places to, you know, to warn people, to teach them how to make their grenades, to kind of like, you know, like,
so like
that's awesome.
I really like that the gates have been smashed down. Like it's sort of it's first light, and like the sun's coming up out of the sort of the rear of Skydagger Keep, and there's all these squad members around, and the lawkeeper has handed the annals, the books, to all these people, and just like the last page is an account of what's happened. Like Skydagger Keep held for long enough. The line was held, and then like the last names in the book are Zaya, Commander Zaya Danayevna, Marshal Adisha Manova, Quartermaster Graf Isaac Albrecht, and Lawkeeper Ivory, remembering Snow, and then they sign it, and the Lawkeeper isn't necessarily a fighter, but she's been this long. She picks up a sword, and she's there with the rest of the stuff as the people who hold the books ride off in the sunset, I guess.
Yeah, and I think probably like what is because like we had this favor owed by the Semyati, right? So I think like probably like the people who there are people in like start of spring that starts coming to Skydagger Keep and like makes the last stand together with the officers, letting like the Legion part ways with their knowledge, right? And you see like the Semyati, probably like this old man that we just like saw first time last episode, like doing the last fight there. Well,
and I think we see often towards the east, looking back westwards, like on the crest of a hill, as as the sun goes down in the west, and there's like the smoke where Skydagger Keep is. We see Livel standing there, taking one last look back, and then into the frame steps Meaty and puts a hand on his shoulder and says, "We gotta go. We have to warn them."
Yes, that feels like a worthy ending. Cool. Yeah. We did it. Thank you all for playing Band of Blades with me, and whoever's watching also for watching. This has been real great, I think. Also, thanks to Paul, who didn't finish with us, but you definitely made your mark on this campaign. So yeah, that's it. I guess we can do outros, and if you want to say any like parting words, this is the time probably. Yes, I am Mikael. My Twitter is here, I think, still. The next thing coming up for me is some Good Society, so more focus on the romance we all have, left back in the Easterlands. So I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm also gonna have with me Jim and Joel here Well, hopefully you'll also get to see maybe the other two of you also on streams here going forward sometimes, but not for this campaign. So I'm very happy about that. We are starting to like arrange times and stuff and having a session 0, so you'll probably get some information about whenever that starts happening on my Twitter. Do you want to go next, Jim?
Yeah, I'm Jim Crocker. I use he, him pronouns, but I'm perfectly fine with they, them. If you're using that as, kind of as the generic, that's totally okay with me. I am here at, like I said, I'm at a convention because my full-time gig, such as it is selling indie role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, much like the one that we played today. I'm going to sell a whole ton of Band of Blades next week at PAX East, where I will be this weekend. I am at Dreamation in Morristown, New Jersey. You can find out more about what I'm doing online. I'm on Twitter at Jim Likes Games, just like it sounds. And I have a website, jimlikesgames.com, where you can buy games from me and read whatever, like the occasional blog post I write. And I also have a little podcast called Just Played, which is my recaps of RPG sessions that I participated in as a player or a game master. And I feel like there's no way I can possibly not talk about the finale of this game. So look for that sometime in the next week or two. Once I kind of, am clear of conventions and stuff, I really feel like I got to go back and go over this, because this was an amazing, intense experience. One of the things that I have missed playing online is being in campaigns that, that go more than like 3-4 sessions, because I'm used to participating in a community where we play month by month. And so this has been fantastic. And I definitely am hoping that I can get a little something going where I can be a GM that
Oh no, the corruption is taking over.
Hotel internet says you can finish the game and that's it.
To it, it's just been wondering, and I feel grateful. And Mikhail, thank you so much. Oh, sorry, I might finish a game. Fantastic. This is the point where
Oh no.
All right.
Okay.
That's my sign. That's my sign. I'm going to bow out. I'm going to go set up. Thank you so much, everybody. Love you guys. This was amazing. And everybody, think good thoughts. And this was I really love this. So thanks.
Cool.
Good night, everybody.
Oh no. Okay. Well. Okay, you want to go next, Joel?
I think now I'm actually Tom. But I'm Joel Van Dyne. My Twitter is somewhere. At Dyne Joel. So yeah, let me know if you have theories about who ends up smooching after the campaign, since some of us escaped. I am probably going to be in that Good Society game, hopefully, so looking forward to that. And that's about it. It was a very, very good campaign.
Yeah, it was good. It was good having you. Tom, you want to go next?
Hi. I'm Tom. This has just been. I wish I'd come in earlier. Because I've only been here for three sessions, but gripping. Yeah. I've actually enjoyed playing a wide array of characters, which I think is something that is definitely a pro in Band of Blades. You do play a variety of characters, which I've enjoyed doing. I think it ended of course, I would have been happier with a happier ending. But I think for the tone of the game, that was a very that was a fitting ending, and it was a hopeful ending, which you don't always get in games like this. Yeah, just thanks for running it. This has been great.
And lastly, our A+ producer, Matthias.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm Matthias. You can find me at mthsblgr on Twitter. Thank you so much, Mikael, for running this and taking us on this journey. And thank you, Jim, who had to leave and actually do work. Ew. Shout out to Paul, definitely. And Tom, for you coming in so late into like so much established and like just going with the flow. That was awesome. And thank you, Joel, because there was so many through lines in the campaign that I think really worked through your characters, and I really, really loved that. And in general, this was awesome because none of us really had played like a long campaign with each other before, or much at all, except like I've played with Mikael quite a bit, so but never something super long running. So this was super special, and it's special to actually finish it, and that's like awesome. I think the last little bit to plug then is this game does have a good end game and a setup for that. Not every game comes with that, and if your campaign doesn't, or if it's a limited series, you can use Sense of an Ending. That's a little supplement I wrote, which you can find on itch.io, to finish out games. And it's actually going to see use tonight. There's a Monster Hearts campaign ending on off_the table, which I hear they might be using my supplement to bring that to a close. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Go check them out because they're an awesome community. And I'll think I'll have more thoughts. There's lots of things to still daydream about with these characters, and I kind of love that. So thank you all so much.
Yeah, that's been great. Thanks all for watching, and thank you again, all players. It's been great. That's it for us for this campaign.
Bye.